Hey, Nate. How's life? I don't know. It's alright. I've been dealing with some things like every human being and really didn't sleep much last night. I'm sorry. That's fine. I just think I need a little me time. I just think I need a little free time. Little break from the shows and the bus rides. Yeah. Last year I had a breakdown. Thoughts telling me I'm lost, getting too loud. Had to see a therapist and I found out something funny's going on up in my house. Yeah, started thinking maybe I should move out. You know, pack my car, take a new route. Clean up my yard, get the noose out. Hang up my heart, let it air out. I've been searching. What does that mean, Nate? I've been learning. Grabbing my keepsakes, leaving my burdens. Well, I brought a few with me. I'm not perfect. Looking at the view like this concerns me. Picking up the cues right, I'm quite nervous. Hate it when I lose sight, life gets blurry and things might hurt me. It's probably gonna be a long journey, but hey, it's worth it though. Cold world out there, kids, grab your coat. It's been a minute, I know, now I'm back to Rome. Looking for the antidote to crack the code. Pretty vivid, I admit it, I'm in classic mode. The only pity given to me, but I can't condone. Talking down to me, I'ma have to crack your nose for cracking jokes. I'm looking for the map to hope, you see that? Been making a whole lot of changes. Wrote a song about that, you should play it. I get scared when I walk on these stages. I look at the crowd and see so many faces. Yeah, that's when I start to get anxious. That's when my thoughts can be dangerous. That's when I put on my makeup and drown in self-hatred. Forget what I'm saying and where'd the beat go? Oh, ain't that something? Drums came in, you ain't see that coming. Hands on my head, can't tell me nothing. Got a taste of the fame, it'll pump my stomach. Throw it back up like I don't want it. Wipe my face, clean up my vomit. OCD trying to push my buttons. I said don't touch it. Now y'all done it. I can be critical, never typical. Intricate with every syllable, I'm a criminal. Intimate but never political, pretty visual. Even if you hate it, I make you feel like you're in it though. You call me what you want, but never call me forgettable. Leave you deep in thought, I can never swim in the kiddie pool. Waited, I've been thinking the cinematic is beautiful. Man, I don't know if I'm making movies or music videos. Yeah, the sales can rise, doesn't mean much though when your health declines. See, we've all got something that we trapped inside that we try to suffocate, you know, hoping it dies. Try to hold it underwater, but it always survives. And it comes up out of nowhere like an evil surprise. Then it hovers over you to tell you millions of lies. You don't relate to that? Must not be as crazy as I am. The point I'm making is the mind is a powerful place, and what you feed it can affect you in a powerful way. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah, but it's not always safe. Just hang with me, this'll only take a moment, okay? Just think about it for a second. If you look at your face every day when you get up and think you'll never be great, you'll never be great. Not because you're not, but the hate will always find a way to cut you up and murder your faith. I've been developing, take a look at the benefits. Nothing to meddle with, I can never be delicate. My even relevant, that depends how you measure it. Take a measurement to back it up and give me the evidence. Pretty evident, dependable, can never be tentative. I'm a gentleman, depending on if I think you're genuine. Pretty elegant, but not afraid to tell you to get it. Grip proper etiquette, I keep it to myself when I celebrate. It's that time again. Better grab your balloons and invite your friends. Seatbelts back on, yeah, strap them in. Look at me, everybody, I'm smiling big. On a road right now that I can't predict. Tell me tone that down, but I can't resist. Y'all know that sound, better raise your fist. The search begins, I'm back, so enjoy the trip. me, they understand, they talk to me. You got your rules and your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see heroes dying, I taste blood that's drying, I feel tension rising. I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me, they talk to me.
As WWE prepares to take its annual trip to hell, we welcome you to the WWE Wrestling Talk Show with Lisa Rock Jones and
Sean Randy Smith, as we bring you, as we are 20 odd hours away at the time of this recording, the Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell will take place from the Amway Center in Florida inside the Thunderdome.
And we believe it'll be the last pay-per-view that they will have there due to their contract expiring on the 1st of November.
Now, before we get into the matches, I would like to go on just a tiny bit of a rant.
Go ahead.
For the past 2 years, I repeat, 2 years, we have had Hell in a Cell matches that have ended in no contest or have just been stopped by the referee. That completely goes against the point of a Hell in a Cell match.
Okay, rant over. So we have 3 matches that will take place inside the Hell in a Cell, or shall we say, Hell in the Red Cell, and 2 of them will be normal singles matches.
And let's start with the Universal Championship match. As if a normal Hell in a Cell match wasn't bad enough, this will be an I Quit Hell in a Cell match, as Roman Reigns will once again defend the Universal Championship against his cousin, Jey Uso.
With a stipulation that if Jey loses, he and Jimmy Uso will have to become Roman's subordinates.
Yes, basically Roman Reigns is tired of Jey questioning his right at the head of the family.
Pretty much.
Our second Hell in a Cell match follows a story which has been going on for the past 2 months, almost. Ever since the build to SummerSlam, Randy Orton has been stalking WWE Champion Drew McIntyre.
Literally.
He failed to get the job done at SummerSlam when the RKO was countered into a roll-up. Failed to get the job done at Clash of Champions in an ambulance match, in part to some assistance from some WWE legends who had been on the receiving end of a punt.
Yes.
But now, Randy Orton looks to get the job done inside Hell in a Cell, which he will enter for the 8th time.
Yes, in his career.
Orton has had success and championship success inside Hell in a Cell, and yet again we ask ourselves, will this 3rd time be the charm, and will Randy Orton pick up his 14th World Championship?
only time will tell.
Oh, our next Hell in a Cell match is a match which is 5 years in the making.
Literally 5 years.
For this, we have to rewind all the way back to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn.
All the way over back to then.
When Sasha Banks took on Bayley for the NXT Women's Championship and would lose that match. Then
Pretty much so.
at NXT TakeOver Respect, they would compete in the first ever Women's Iron Man match, in which Bayley would successfully retain.
Yep.
Then just so a year later, Bayley would be called up to the main roster. They would cross paths several times. Sasha Banks would play a significant role in Bayley defeating Charlotte for the Raw Women's Championship.
Yep.
Then at the Elimination Chamber in 2019, sorry, they would team up to become the first Women's Tag Team Champions. And then after Bayley turned heel by becoming the SmackDown Women's Champion for the second time, Sasha Banks would be in her corner throughout every single second of the reign. They would again pick up the Tag Team Championships. Sasha Banks would pick up the Raw Women's Championship for a couple of weeks again, them both being Banks 2 belts and Bayley DOS straps. But then, after losing the Tag Team Championships to Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, Bayley would turn on Sasha Banks.
Literally turn on her.
Which means that for only the third time in WWE history, we will have a women's Hell in a Cell match as Bayley defends the SmackDown Women's Championship against Sasha Banks. Now, a few things to note here.
One.
Every women's Hell in a Cell match has featured Sasha Banks. In fact, every women's Hell in a Cell match now will feature the 4 horsewomen.
Brilliant, that is absolutely correct.
And
now we move on to matches outside of the cell.
Yes, first of all with Elias and Jeff Hardy. Now, this storyline wise, this is what this does.
What?
Well, on the May 29th episode of SmackDown, Elias was unable to compete in the tournament that would crown the Intercontinental Champion after the title was stripped from Sami Zayn because of
COVID-19. That was before they had the Thunderdome.
Then the storyline reason was because he was run over by a car that was quote-unquote driven by a drunk Jeff Hardy. In reality, he had torn a pectoral muscle that would keep him out of action for 6 to 9 months.
Ouch.
Then on the 12th of October episode of Monday Night Raw, during the draft, Elias would return during a triple threat match between Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, and Jeff Hardy, and smash Hardy with a guitar.
Turning heel in the process.
Being done because he believed Hardy was the person who took him out of action, as I stated for the storyline reason.
And obviously, Jeff Hardy tried to attack Elias this past week on Raw with a guitar, with him saying, "It wasn't me who ran you down."
And now the two will collide at Money in the Bank. I mean Hell in a Cell.
But speaking of Money in the Bank,
Yes, speaking of Money in the Bank. Yeah, speaking of Money in the Bank.
couldn't have done that any better.
For the past couple of months, well, I say past couple of months, for the past month or so, The Miz has stated that Otis is negligently holding the Money in the Bank contract.
Yes.
He decided to sue Otis over the Money in the Bank contract, and last night on SmackDown we had Raw and Otis.
With the judge being soon-to-be WWE Hall of Famer JBL.
The bailiff being Ron Simmons, aka Farouk.
Damn!
And we also had appearances from Teleron.
We even had appearances from Rey Mysterio.
Asuka.
And
And
Otis' tag team partner from Monday Night Raw, Tucker.
now, originally JBL was going to rule in favour of Otis. Saying that he wasn't being negligent because the contract clearly states that the holder has a year to cash in.
But
After being presented with
a
something,
briefcase full of money.
well, that's possibly the speculation, but we don't know exactly what it was. It has now been decided that Otis will face The Miz in a singles match for the Money in the Bank contract.
Much to the dismay of Otis and Tucker, and with huge smiles to the dirt sheets.
And as much as I hate to say it, I think the contract is going to go to The Miz, because let's face it, as long as Roman Reigns is Universal Championship, Otis ain't successfully cashing in.
So, sorry Otis, we reckon. Kiss goodbye to the briefcase because it's going from SmackDown to Raw.
SmackDown vs. Raw, I thought they stopped making those video games.
So that is my new match card. What more time?
And we will also give our predictions in these as we go through.
Yes, so we'll start off with the Universal Championship Hell in a Cell I Quit match as Roman Reigns defends the Universal Championship against Jey Uso.
Sorry Jay, this is your funeral, and Roman Reigns is going to retain here and you will be forced to become his subordinate.
Yeah,
So
I
you can do that.
obviously I agree with my colleague. I can't see, as much as I want Jey Uso to win, I don't think he is going to win personally.
Now, the match that I am torn on is the WWE Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton.
Yes, I can't see.
I can't fully decide which way this is going to go. Because, and to be perfectly honest, I'm fine either way. Because Drew McIntyre has been champion since WrestleMania, so one could argue that it is around that time where he will lose the championship, but also we could see Randy Orton lose and put over Drew McIntyre once and for all. Although we could see a new champion coming out of this show anyway, depending what happens with the Money in the Bank contract.
Very true.
On the SmackDown Women's Championship Hell in a Cell match, the writing is on the wall, and the only logical winner of this match is Sasha Banks.
I agree. And since when did this become James Bond with writings on the wall? And finally, we have Jeff Hardy versus Elias. I'm going to say Jeff Hardy, straight up.
Considering the point that Jeff Hardy is at in his career, I'm saying Elias.
Oh, okay. And finally, as we said, Otis, we reckon, is going to lose the Money in the Bank.
So that does it for our Hell in a Cell pre-show and look at the match card. Hell in a Cell takes place tomorrow night from the Amway Center, exclusively on the WWE Network.
So, until then, he's been...
Until next week, where we will bring you our reactions, I've been Lisa Rock Jones, and he's been
Sean Randy Smith, and we will see you next week for our Hell in a Cell post show.